Well, it's been some time when we last talked about what it means to actually think about your preventative health. That means taking charge of your own health, your own well-being. Part of what we described before was the use of laboratories that take snapshots of your biochemistry. I've been doing this for myself, but it's certainly what I've done for clients. And I'm just looking at some of my old results and comparing them with new ones. And the reason is you want to be able to do labs over time to see if what you are doing is actually affecting a change. So this is the Genova Diagnostics Ion Laboratory. This is the one I commonly use as a first round for patients when we want to talk about preventative health or augmenting their health. And scanning through this now, it really just provides an in-depth snapshot or photograph of my biochemistry. It is a long report. It's about 19 pages, so there's a lot to digest. I always give this to patients, but I always give it with the caveat that I have to sit down for several hours, take a look at it, review it, and then look at the patient themselves, not just the laboratory values, and work out strategies that make good sense for them. For myself, when I'm looking at the essential amino acids, it's very clear that what I'm doing is spot on, because my essential amino acids prior test showed that I needed to supplement, and subsequently using a pea protein powder, I've been able to increase the levels that were previously low. These would be like leucine, valine, isoleucine. These are essential amino acids. They're the building blocks. When we make certain things like hormones in our body, we make them ourselves. We take these nutritional values and incorporate them into our basic biochemistry. Without these deficiencies, that's where a lot of underlying issues start to happen. And I always do this for looking at one's nutrition to augment your health. Other functional categories, looking down at the B vitamins, things that are precursors to amino acids and precursors then to neurotransmitters. One of my biggest questions has always been the reliance on antidepressants. And it always makes me wonder, is there anything that could be happening either nutritionally or the body just not doing what it should be because it's not optimized? And therefore, looking at this, I was made aware that my vitamin D level was low and certain amino acids were low as well. So in changing or augmenting that, I was able to basically correct the deficiencies, which then allowed me not to have to rely heavily on any antidepressants. I don't use any now, simply because I really looked at the biochemistry. Biochemistry is the roadmap for me to be able to optimize as best as I can my own health. And that is really just the biochemistry. When we talk about genomics, it's what I got from mom and dad that make me who I am and make me unique. But I have the ability to make changes that really do have an impact over time. So just scanning through, there's a graphical representation that helps one to understand maybe kind of where you are. Are you in the sweet spot? Are you deficient? Are you above? Oddly enough, toxic elements is part of this profile, and my arsenic level was elevated. I don't know if those out there are trying to poison me, but it does make me, question what could those? That could have been from soil. I used to do some gardening, so it could have been in soil deposits. And it's not telling me to be alarmed. It's telling me I need to be aware. And subsequent testing has allowed me to kind of track that and see if that is a condition that continues, or is there something I can do to change that. Again, because of previous labs that I've done, I've been able to augment particularly certain vitamins that I wasn't getting nutritionally by supplements, and that certainly has helped. And then amino acids are one, but fatty acids are extremely important. We find quite often that we just simply can't get enough. These are things that you would get in fish products. That's what fish oils a lot of people consume to boost their fatty acids. But nuts and other grains certainly can provide that. Flaxseed. It's important to, at least have an understanding of how it plays a role in your nutrition and your health. Here I was also able to demonstrate from these laboratories, from previous, by supplementing with fatty acids, the right kinds of fatty acids, I was able to affect a change. Then we go into other more common things like B complex vitamins, certainly vitamin C, vitamin A. How does that relate biochemistry? And it provides a useful index. There are certain things also looking at how one's gut health. This is not the test that I would recommend for doing that, but it does allude to whether there is maybe an imbalance. But there are other tests which I think are far superior to this, but it's kind of like maybe it correlates, or maybe it substantiates the need to do another test. That's why this is the first test that I usually perform. And of course, anytime a laboratory like this is done, it's always helpful to engage patients to make them feel empowered. So being able to represent this in some fashion so that you can understand where are the priorities. And that could be represented graphically, but very often I find that it's much more complex, and it does take time to review the results and understand not just graphically what does it mean, but more importantly, what can you do about it? So just sometimes you'll see on these that, the amino acid insufficiencies, it'll say sky high, but there's nuances about it. They do provide recommendations at the end of the report. I tend to find that these recommendations are just kind of formulaic. It doesn't really match with the individual, their own history, their own genetics. So I really spend a lot of time not only understanding more of what they will need, but also the products that they will get them there. And that's one of the frustrating things, is that many, it's $1 billion industry for supplements. There's so many different ones. Which ones should I take? And how should I be taking them responsibly? So it's nice to be able to go through and really dig in. I think it does provide an opportunity for me to have an understanding of myself biochemically. You can't see my biochemistry, but this gives me a hint. And certainly for my patients, I try to support them on a journey towards health and wellness, and this is just one tool, and there certainly are many others. But I just wanted to give you that update and give you a little bit more perspective on how these things really are an interplay. And if there are any questions, certainly, or comments, certainly include those in comments below. We'd certainly welcome any other perspectives, specifically focusing on any diagnostics to really hone in on health and wellness and prevention. Functional and integrative medicine is a core component of this, and I welcome my colleagues to comment as well. Well, off to next time. And if you happen to find any of this interesting, or more importantly, if you want to collaborate, check out the link below so that you can send us your comments, any stories you may have, anything, we're happy to entertain it. And this is really about us going on a journey together.